People assume the internet is everywhere. And when we go into an event space, it's a field or a building or really anywhere, and we have to bring it in, service providers may or may not have extended their infrastructure to that spot. It's like building a building or putting a wall up in your own office or a new office. You get that, the cost of that gets built into your lease. And that's kind of what like a Time Warner or a Verizon do from time to time, especially with businesses. If you're not quite to their switch, they'll charge you an additional amount of money to get that circuit extended all the way to you. Now, when you look at a home situation, especially everyone, I think, can see it right now, AT&T and Google and Verizon, everyone are racing to run fiber to everyone's house, or at least down the street in front of your house. And so they are investing that money, and their hope is that they'll recoup that investment over time as they add subscribers to that service. When we do something like that temporarily, they have some of the same costs. Adding or extending a line, adding in some hardware in a cabinet. They've got people that have to come out and do this. So those things get added in, but they need to pay for it in that one event, not over the life of a contract. And they might assume that you're going to be a customer for 3, 5, or 10 years. The other issue when we're talking about microwave providers is that they have to put radios up on a rooftop or a tower. And depending on the type of link, a licensed link carries a cost. As well, the equipment that they use can be $5,000, $10,000, or $20,000 a side. So there are sometimes very significant investments that need to be made in hardware, and that gets passed on to that event, so that event recoups, or that provider can recoup that cost within that one event, and that drives the cost way up. Now, if it's a regular event that you know is going to happen over and over again in the same venue, then you can start to look at signing one-year contracts. There's some tricks where you can get what they call a burstable circuit. And that means you pay for a nominal amount of bandwidth, say 50 or 100 meg. But if you use more than that during your event, they'll just charge you for that additional usage. And oftentimes, the way that they measure the billing, there's no charge at all above that base cost. So if you're going to come back year after year, it may make sense to sign a 12 or 24 month contract, or even longer if you know you're coming back. But the long and short of it is that there's very little that can be done. If there's no existing bandwidth, there's very little that we can do to control those skyrocketing costs. A lot of these providers know that there's no other option, and they'll charge what the market will bear.